I got to say something. This guy's laughing at me already. I feel like a piece of shit as 30, what am I? 36? 36 years old. I need to do better on being present in the moment. As a husband, as a father, as a son, I need to be more present across the board. Yesterday was my dad's birthday, and I totally dropped the ball. I didn't even call him. I didn't text him. And that's inexcusable. It's unacceptable. I truly feel like a piece of shit, and it's like it's dwelling on me in a very bad way. And I need to do better. And for those of you out there, try to live in the moment more. I get caught up in the social media, we get caught up in the lives, we get caught up in the content and what's going on around us, and trying to be, doing the breaks and the podcast and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, family and friends mean more than anything. And when it's all said and done, that's all you have. So Pops, Dad, I love you. I'm sorry. Happy birthday. You know you this shit. You know I love you. I hope you have a great weekend. Live in the moment. That's all I got to say. Enjoy the show.
Daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
Let's go. Get up on you gonna learn today.
Daddy, chill.
Call me Daddy.
Can I get a hiya?
Hiya.
Oh, it's always great to be the first at something, right? And we are officially the first of something. It might not be the best thing, might not be the best player, but we were the first at something finally, and I think we finally got the accolades or attention.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that we deserve, but
no,
it's something that we like. It's awesome to see that. I've never had X, Twitter, go off like that before. My phone was dinging. If you don't know, we pulled yesterday. Teddy over here pulled while I was mid-sleeping. Mid-sleep. All I heard was, get the camera, Sleevey, get the camera. I don't know what it is. We have a sticker on something. And I'm like half asleep, waking up. I'm like, what is it? It's thick. I don't know. It's a patch. Who knows? We thought they were live. We thought they were redemptions.
they're not redemptions.
They're not redemptions.
Who knows?
We pulled the Drew Maggi rookie debut patch auto out of Topps Chrome Update yesterday. It's been great for the channel. It's been probably one of the best cards we've pulled to date. And I don't say that. I say that in like the stature of the card. We talked about this yesterday, that it's not about the player with these cards. It's about the product. It's about the type of card it is. And in my opinion, people are going to go against with this. This is Topps logo man, exquisite staple, like stamp on the hobby. This is truly one of a kind. They'll never have a card like this ever again. And because it being first year, first time putting it out, there's going to be a lot of big spenders who they don't care who the players are. They're just going to want to collect as many of these as possible. They're going to want people to set up at a show and go, look, I have 15 of the 91 patch autos from the first year MLB patch autos. Like, that's what they're going to want. Yep. And I know this from big buyers who have reached out to me privately, won't say their names, that have said, I want as many of these as possible. Don't care the player, don't care the price. We just want them. And let's now go get into our fucking guest today, because that's a good segue, because we have two guests today that I've been watching them for a little bit. They have their own thing. I like it. Hobby happy hour, Triple H. You guys got to get fucking Triple H shirts done. Where's the merch? Hobby happy hour.
2024.
Yeah.
2024. We got a lot coming.
2024. I saw Sasquatch. Ryan is here with us in Army ATC 22. Alex, I appreciate you guys coming on. These guys have been around for a long time. And when I say long time, all right, Alex's video on YouTube is a fucking classic. Guys, decked up. By the way, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You some bitch. Thank you for your service. All right. I have a lot of family members in my family, mostly Marines, but Air Force, Coast Guard, friends, family, and we literally can't say enough and praise enough for the service that you guys do. I can't imagine. I could never do it. I was supposed to go into the Navy. I took the test. I told myself if I got anything higher than a 72, I was going to go in. I got a 73 and I didn't go in. I got scared. I set the bar like so high. I was like, I'm 73. There ain't no way I'm getting a 73. I got a 73. And my mom's like, yeah, you're gonna join. I'm like, I don't think I can do it. I can't do it. I'm not built that way.
That's an ASVAB score that they put you on a nuclear destroyer in the Navy.
Hey, that they told me chemical engineer.
I know.
And I said, I am not a chemical engineer.
You're like, what would a 50 get me?
Yeah.
Well, and my recruiter took me to join and everything. Of course, we get to go over all the different lists of jobs and stuff. And they're like, you can be a petroleum specialist. I'm like, I can work at Exxon. No, I'm fine. I don't need to pump no gas. I'm good. Right. But, the ATC portion of my name is air traffic control. A lot of people don't really understand that. So I was air traffic controller in the Army.
Well, I'm glad you said that because when I was looking around on YouTube, and we'll talk about the infamous YouTube video that you have, which is amazing, by the way. I'm glad you said that because I didn't know. I was like, Army ATC. I don't know what this means. So I'm glad you said that. I want to talk about that video. I want to get into like several things, and we can kind of go back and forth about the hobby. Like, where do you guys think the state of the hobby is? But let's talk about the video. 15 years ago?
Yeah, 2008.
Okay,
So, yeah.
At least that's what YouTube tells me. It's 15 years ago.
Back in the day.
Yeah, 15 years ago, you were doing brakes.
Correct.
And you broke an exquisite box.
Oh my.
Yep.
Fully decked out in your what would you call that?
My kit, the full
yeah.
wherever you're deployed.
And it's so great, man. So Josh, he's opened an exquisite box, and first box I think was Tracy McGrady to 299, if I remember. Or first card. Second card was like some, I don't know, patch auto, probably some no-name rookie, right?
Gabe Pruitt.
Pruitt. Third card, and you could see he turns because this is before we had the hand cameras.
Right.
He was just opening, so he goes, holy shit. And it was Steve Nash, John Stockton, dual logo man auto.
Ooh, that is insane.
And then the funny thing is he goes, this guy, the one guy hasn't even paid yet. He's supposed to send me money via the mail.
Yeah,
like
mail.
mail.
TTM entries, yeah.
Hell yeah. Just waiting for DHL to drop off.
Like, oh my God.
Hey,
Guys,
did he ever send payment?
Yeah.
So he did. So the problem was he had two teams, and in the mail, he didn't tell me via messages that he only paid for one. So I'm not doing this video until I get all the finished payments, right? This was live.
Yeah.
None of it, right? So I'm sitting here waiting, and so I can't tell him, I'm not going to be like, hey, by the way, you want to pick this team, not this team, right? So he decided. I was like, you have the Jazz, and you have, I forget what it was, which was another good team. It was actually a really good team, and he picked that one, of course, and I was like, okay, so that's your team. So the Jazz, I had to eat, which was fine, right? Because technically
looking
now
back on it.
So what happened to the card?
So The other person that was into the card with me, we ended up selling it on eBay. I think we sold it for like $3,500 back then.
Oh my god, that's
Um,
got that
the
car's
good
got to
old
do
days.
that car's got to do 10x that, right?
Oh yeah.
Without easily.
Yeah.
10 or
Because I know we pulled the Carl Malone, potential rapist, logo man out of Immaculate 2 years ago, and the guy got an instant offer for $20K. He turned it down, which I told the guy he was an idiot. I was like, just take this.
Take
Take this.
So
run,
dumb.
take the money.
Take the money. You guys can attest to this. 99.9% of the time, the first offer you get on a card when it's pulled is the best offer. Hands down, like, and most of the time it's head and shoulders above what you're going to get offered. And so many people get caught up in the, oh, well, I'm getting all this attention and people are DMing me and this, oh, it's got to be more. And then they get caught. And then a month later, you find out they sold it for pennies, what they should have sold it for.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you guys both, Ryan, we'll start with you, Ryan. How long have you been sort of in the hobby or collecting or around the space? And talk about your page and go into some backstory, like the origin stories of you.
Sure. I've been collecting cards since I was 5. When we used to go into like Value City Furniture and buying upper deck packs for $1.
Can't find that no more.
No.
Right. The kind of shit that we were just rubber banding together and throwing in a tote. I could have paid off this house a long time ago.
Oh man, don't get me started on Pokemon. I would shock you how much money I've thrown down the drain.
I can remember I'll get back on the story, but I can remember Toys R Us with the first edition packs for like $2 per, and just these like giant drums. When you walked in, I was like, this thing's gonna be lame. It's not gonna hold on too long.
Oh, my friends and I opened up 10 of them.
Yeah.
They're like $2 a pop.
They go for $400,000 now.
It's just so wild.
Right. So like a lot of people in the hobby, it wasn't just cards. I got into like coins and comics, and I was really big into Star Wars action figures for a while. Got out of it for a little bit when I was in middle school and high school, and I got back into sports memorabilia. That was a big thing that I got into, was doing like helmets and other things that I could display that at the time I was like, oh, my friends will think this is cooler than just like cards.
Yeah.
And I can vividly remember everyone, like the first bump's free sometimes, right? And I had a buddy of mine, we were out shopping one day, and he's like, hey, like, we need to go to this card shop real quick. I want to buy a couple of packs. I said, shit, that hobby's still around. And I remember it was 09. I bought 1 pack of 09 SP Authentic, and I hit a Mark Sanchez RPA out of 25 out of 1 pack. And I was like, all right,
always the one, right?
All the way back in.
That seems to happen more times than not to people who they get sucked back in. I had a guy pull a true orange like height Zion. He bought 1 pack. He hit the true orange to, what was it? To 49?
49.
True orange prism card to 49. And just like that, sucked back in.
Yeah.
So it's wild.
First bunch free. Yeah. So jumped into YouTube because I wanted to say, well, like, where's this at the time? And that's where I met Army. He'd been there maybe a year before me, but I jumped on there and just dove in head first from there on out. So, did like the daily mail days and started doing group breaks. And when we had blog TV, that really dates us right there. Like, that's where people used to hang out. That was like Whatnot before Whatnot was blog TV. And did that for a long time.
How did you build a customer base?
I wasn't worried about customers then as I am now. Like I did kind of pivot about 2 years ago.
Well, like on the break side of things. Like how did you like go actively build? Because like for me now, I don't blast people. I don't DM people. I never have. I always thought that was like not scummy, but it was just like distasteful. Because like I'm not gonna reach out to somebody unless they want to buy from me. But but now for me, it's like I gotta sponsor this. So this guy, so other people see it. So how did you do that back then?
You got to think back then, the breaks were at cost. Like everyone that's breaking on YouTube, minus Chris Justice, the godfather of breaking and everything.
Godfather.
right? His was a business. Everyone else was doing it as a collector. We're trying to get into the break as cheap as possible. So we're breaking it down to the penny for all the friends. It was just the card collecting community.
And add like $2 for shipping, right?
Yeah, and that's it. And a lot of times, like for my breaks I did, if someone didn't get a hit, I'd refund them the shipping, right? That's the type of aspect that the card collecting community on YouTube had for breaking back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so to your question too is like, you could do a video promoting like, hey, like I just got a case of 09 UD Exquisite Football. I don't even want, like, I hear about prices now, and I'm just like, man, I remember I got a case and it was like, what, $800? Like, that's crazy. Though, why did anyone spend all that on 3 boxes? And now to see NT basketball come out at $3,500 a piece, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, good luck. So the other thing is, you could go on Blog TV and you could just sit there and you could be nobody and still have like 50 people just like jump in your room and be like, hey, what do you got going on in here? And they would just like throw you PayPal, and it was legit.
Was there less people scamming back then, or was it still pretty prevalent?
So this is the reason why that there's a verified random.org, right? I don't know if you know the story about that. They have the verified paid service.
So yeah, and then there was a fake page, right?
Correct. People are doing a fake page, putting in certain numbers, whatever, and they're able to actually, manipulate the random.org. So that's why that was the scamming aspect back then.
Because I've seen some videos, and I won't name names, but
drop them. Come on.
Well, no, like people say, hey, if they don't show a certain thing on when they're running a random.org, if they're not showing like the IP, whatever it might be,
yeah,
there's a possibility that they could be rigging it because they're not actually, they're just showing like the whatever that random is. They're not showing the full screen of the website, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd say the scamming feels. I referenced it because I actually got scammed for the first time maybe about a couple months ago, and I said, listen, guerrilla warfare is constantly evolving. So it just looked different, and you could still smell shit in the air back then as you can now. It just looked a little bit different.
Yeah. We've been scammed. I mean, I'm out over 100 G's.
Yeah.
It total. And that's including the PayPal bullshit that we went through. They took 58 total between our 3 PayPal accounts. Literally just took it, like paid.
They just kept it.
They kept it. There's nothing I could do. I talked to lawyers. The lawyers said, you're going up against a Titan, and they have all the money to just sit there and just they don't care. They're not gonna, and I'm a small fish. And then I had another guy who I bought wax from across seas. He scammed us out of 20 grand of wax. I mean, I've had guys come in who it's a laundry list of things.
Sure.
So I'm used to it. We would do fundraisers for people and be like, hey, every dime that we make tonight, all the money that we make, all the profits are going to go to this person in need or this organization. And almost every single time they turn out to be a scumbag.
That's terrible.
Almost every time. It's crazy. So that's why I've kind of like taken a back seat to that, because it's so hard. Like I've never even met you guys. Like I know you guys, but I've never really I've never hung out. So it's so hard to trust people these days. It's so hard to know what did this person really do in their private time, or what have they really said, or who are they hanging out with, or so it's very hard now. And I've tried to tiptoe around certain things because I don't want to get caught up in somebody else's shitstorm. And we've seen it where someone's associated and you're guilty by association. So
and I can lament with you over drinks sometime about PayPal, because I am a part of the generation in 2009. There was a big wave. There was a big movement at the time where they were shutting down accounts left and right. To this day, I cannot have a PayPal account. And it's so ironic. And I talk to eBay every time I see them at a big show. I'm like, it's funny because you all used to not give a shit about this hobby. And in fact, people like me who were doing group breaks, they eventually flagged the accounts and started shutting them down. They're like, no, this is like gambling. This is gambling. At which point I think, Army, you could say, but it was like 2012 or is it 2010 where people started listing on eBay with the caveat of you'll get a sketch card no matter what. So you had to prove that they were getting something. But either way, I tried about once a year. I go back to Big Brother and I'm saying hey, can we just jump on the phone? Because I'm fucking harmless. I have a DoD secret clearance. I work for one of your payment processors. That's my full-time job at Visa. I'm we're fine. Like, just take the call, and we can to this day they won't.
There's a big wave between like 2010, 2012. You know, a lot of group breakers that were on YouTube and other platforms, they weren't posting their PayPal, you know, addresses in comments or anything else. You were private messaging the people because what was happening was there were rats all over the place. You know, they either didn't hit really well in a group break or something like that, right? And they're out a lot of money. They just can't control themselves. They were taking that and reporting it to PayPal saying, hey, look, these people are doing this. But on the other side, people are also morons, and they were just taking.
It's science. It's science. People are morons. Yeah.
You know, gift or friends and family payments, you know, and thinking they're going to be completely fine, right? And that was also a huge flag for a lot of people.
I went through the roller coaster with PayPal for years, and it was they shut us down for 2 weeks. Verify all this information, shut us down, you know, 3 months later, shut us down, verify this information. And every single time was the same damn shit. I kept going, here's my invoices, here's my supplier, here's my LLC, here's my EIN, here's my picture. What else? What do you want, a fucking blood test? What do you want me to pee in a cup? I'll pee in a cup. I don't do drugs. You like it came to the point, it got to the point for like so bad.
You should try them.
Man,
yeah, baby.
I finally hired somebody who I went to high school with because I told him about it, and he was like, "You need to take care of that on taxes. That is a loss, and they consider that a fine, and you can write that off." So now I'm trying to I'm just trying to recoup something of it.
Yeah,
you know, long term.
It
happened 2 years ago. It happened 2 years ago to when they took our money. 2 days later, 2 days after, my business partner Sleevey went into the hospital for COVID for 30 days. So I was left alone with no money. I felt alone in the wild. I had no money, no wax, and nobody to help me. And I was running lives. Fortunately, I've built good relationships in the space where my supplier gave me $50,000 in wax and said, pay me back the money after you break it. Like, give you here, just take it, you know? So, and that's one thing that I've tried to really hone in, is building relationships with people that I think are good, wholesome people in the hobby. And that way I know I'll have their back and they'll have mine if that time ever comes. So, I want to talk about the hobby space right now and where your guys' head is and mind is right now. I know you guys probably have your opinions on breakers and certain people in the hobby. Give me one word. I'll start with Alex. One word, the state of the hobby right now.
Worried. And I say that not so much me, because I know it, but the rest of the hobby, it just seems like everyone's worried. They're constantly worrying about, where's this going to go? Where's this, you know, and everything, rather than really for the hobby dealing for, you know, with me and Ryan is like, we're true collectors at heart, but we have a business side also with, you know, being a vendor, doing other things and stuff like that. Like, so my aspect of worrying isn't really that much, but the rest of the hobby, that's all you see. So many people talking about, you know, the market's up and down and everything and stuff like that. It's because I would say, you know, the amount of people that's online talking about the hobby these days are a good bit of people from like maybe early 2020, late 2019 to now, compared to the individuals that were from 2008 on, that know the market goes like this because of the off seasons, because, you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas is getting ready to happen, and, you know, everything else, you know, this happens every year. Like, it's not because now, yes, the income from, you know, the COVID stuff and everything else is going away. People are going to have to start paying loans and stuff. You know, it's more understandable, but those waves up and downs for different sports happens every year. And the people who have only been in the space for a little bit of time don't understand that yet, because they haven't seen it for a longer period of time.
Ryan, what about you? One word, and then we can expand on this, because I want to get some more juicy stuff out of you guys.
I'm gonna put 2 words into one.
Okay.
Fucking fine. It's fucking fine. It's fine.
It is.
Holy
Yeah.
I like that.
Listen, it's fucking fine. We're doing more than okay. Like we have, as much as I even like throw, like just shit at Fanatics or Tops or Panini, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
It's great that they're in our space. They're throwing a lot of money at our space. There's a lot of innovation happening, a lot more promoting that ever happened. Like even something as basic as Hobby Written, like that never happened before. That was a big deal, and there was a huge turnout, and it got a lot of good publicity nationwide. I think there's so much to look forward to. People can't be short-sighted, and I do. To Alex's point, when people were saying about if you came in 2019 or 2020, you're probably throttled like a mother right now. I feel bad for you. The people that are coming in now are never going to come in at a better time because the things are down, they're normalizing. Plus, we have this impending economic depression coming on. Like, there's going to be some more price drops, but that's good if you're a buyer. It sucks if you're a seller. We're fucking fine. Like, the hobby's in a really good place right now, I think.
I think that I like both your takes because one was the worried with fucking fine, which is great. Because I was worried that the Dallas card show every time is a fucking nuke. It goes off, it's popping. This last one, and I've been going to almost every single one for the last 2-3 years consistently. This last one was pretty morbid.
It's bad.
And I think and I think the reason behind that is people are not coming off the ledge. They're on the ledge. They got stuck into a price on a card and they won't adjust. And they're so scared and they think that it's going to go back. I came across a Bobby Witt card. It was a purple sapphire auto. I want to say it was PSA 9. And I said, how much on that Bobby Witt? He said, $12K. I go, 12K. I mean, it's sapphire 1. It's purple 2. I was like, damn, the true 9 red the true red 9 just did 24. That card's, there's no way that card, and he goes, well, that's what I paid for it. And I go, there's a problem there.
Nobody cares.
Just because you paid that doesn't mean you're going to get that. And so I just feel like some people are just kind of like, I'm not coming off my prices. And I've talked to a lot of flippers, guys who they go to these shows. They're not breakers. They're not repackers. They're collectors. They buy and they sell on IG. And a lot of them said they didn't buy a single card at that show because of the pricing of the cards at these guys' tables.
Oof. So
I'm worried. I was worried about that, which I'm glad you said that. But on the other side, what Ryan said, fucking fine, is the other part of my brain goes, yeah, we are fucking fine. You know why? Because I remember in 2001 when I was chasing Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson. Okay, I was chasing all those guys, buying Fleer glossy boxes, which was a good product back then. Fleer glossy boxes, hobby for $40. Okay, we're fine. We need to turn the page on the 2020, 2021 prices, and we need to move on starting now. That we got to know that we're probably never going to get back to that 18, 19, 20 pricing or comps. Like we might not get back to there, but at least we know that we're having an adjustment, and I think it's needed. It's needed.
It's good. Honestly, like I'm the glass half full guy about that too. Is I think maybe not a better time to be getting into the hobby or being in the hobby, because I tell people this hobby's been around for 150 plus years. It's going to take more than a year to knock it down. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are invested into it, like you, like Alex, like myself. There's people that have shops. Like we're going to do our best to keep it around. It's going to be fine. Everything that Fanatics has in store with trying to make bigger, more exciting shows. I think maybe Dallas. One of the takeaways I have from your feedback on Dallas is I'm noticing, maybe in a bad way, I wish these promoters, especially the bigger ones, would like talk amongst themselves and get a better schedule, because like I think the same time Dallas happens, there's always like a big Nashville, and there's
2 other shows. I think that
there's 2 other like massive shows competing with each other. And I'm like, no, Dallas would be lit every time if maybe they didn't.
An expo, and there was an expo,
right. If they
shows,
it's too many massive
saturated.
shows.
Yeah, it's getting saturated. And if they limited the shows, I think there would be more hype around it, and more people would go, well, instead of 6 shows a year, now they only have 4. So now I'm more inclined to go to those shows.
100%. Alex and I talked about it like 2 weeks ago. I said, we're to the point now, and this is a unique time for us. Maybe I think starting maybe mid-year through last year is if you want to go to a 400 plus table show, you can every weekend now.
Yeah.
52 weeks out of the year. And that never used to be a thing. And that's going to bring fatigue naturally with it too, right? Is you're starting to see, like, I did a ton of traveling this last summer. I don't have a camera crew like Mojo walking around, but I went to as many places. I got after it this last summer. And
you're not InvestiCard? We are live with InvestiCard.
I just really like keeping my phone in my pocket and shaking hands and meeting people.
Hey,
but
I'm the same way. And I don't want to cut you off there.
Yeah.
But he tries to, like, hey, man, like, videotape this. And I'm like, sometimes I just want to live in the moment. Sometimes I just want to hang out and say hi to someone without a fucking camera, you know, because I know I'll say something that I regret and I'll get in trouble for. But keep going. I don't want to cut you off. Go.
You're in trouble when some guy just comes up behind you and just says, "Hello, sports card investor,"
and that's when I'm leaving for one of those other shows. Oh God! But no, but what I'm saying is like you start seeing, like, I went to 25 states this last summer, and I saw a lot of the same faces at a lot of the same shows. I had a lot of the same cards they brought 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, okay, there's going to be some natural fatigue with that. So maybe if there were fewer, to your point, to say Dallas did it 4 times, and then the other promoters can work around that. And I don't know. It'd be better if they got that together. But with Fanatics expanding that whole new division for shows, I think it's going to happen whether people like it or not.
I think so too. And I'm not saying this because we break on Fanatics Live and we're sort of like part of that community now.
Yeah.
But the things that I'm hearing that I'm not allowed to talk about or repeat, it's stuff that, like, they're actually absorbing things from us.
Good.
Finally, right? I would say it on the live and I would talk shit on products vocally, like, all the time. I would open it and go, this product sucks. Like, why are we making this product? So now I'm relaying this to some people who are in the know, and they're like, DR, they're listening, they're watching, they're in every single live, they hear what you have to say. Like, keep feeding them information, because it's just they're trying to work out the kinks, and like, you know, they're doing things outside the box and, like, throwing it out the wall, see if it stuck. You know, the frozen fractors. I wasn't for them, you know, but it's at least they're trying something.
They're trying something, right? And to your point,
too.
Yeah, I can echo that. Like, I'm nobody compared to the operation you're running over here. And I did a video about the need for, I do these hot takes on occasion, and I dropped this 90-second about how there's a need for a third party, unbiased, like, audit firm for Fanatics to hire. And somebody reached out to me like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I work with Michael Rubin. He may or may not have seen your video, thought it was hysterical, and thought you made a lot of good points. And I was like, oh shit.
Well, they're watching.
They're watching. Like, I don't have tens of thousands of subs, but, like, they're watching, and someone gave me that feedback. I thought that was cool.
They have their minions, I'll say, all over YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I mean, they're in whatnot. They're watching, listening, and they're taking in, which I like. I hope they do more things where, hey, go put an expo together with breakers, LCSs, influencers, and have some sort of community and bounce ideas off people. What's working? What's not working? You know, I have the best ear to the ground to the actual collectors, the guys who are buying and selling and grading, and they're telling me certain things, and it's not changing. And if things don't change on certain products, you're gonna have guys just slowly fade away, especially like the Bowman guys. The Bowman guys are so particular, and if you piss those guys off, that's like a cult following that they're just gonna kind of fade away. And they're not going to buy anymore. They're not going to spend. And so I see it on my side, and I hope they adapt to that. I hope they really take that in and go, hey, we are direct with these people, and if you don't take care of these people, those guys are going to be gone. And I've already seen it. I mean, one of my best friends, Scott, is from Suicide Boys. The guy doesn't spend anymore. He's like, I don't want to do it anymore. He's like, You know, I got crushed on Panini products for so long. By the time he moved to baseball and Bowman, he was already hurt. So, so I hope they start doing that, and I hope they start adjusting and listening to people.